Two things, Mike. First of all, is there any kind of update on Ehrhoff? He skated again. Are you optimistic that he could be available at some point this week?
He was cleared for contact, so that's the first day he's been cleared for contact. So he went through practice. We had a good hard practice out there, and he'll be day-to-day right now. So.
Mike, I also wanted to ask you about your power play. Specifically, the Rangers have a lot of guys who are dangerous shorthanded.
Yeah.
Looks like you might be going with a 4-forward look. Is that a concern of yours going into this series?
Yeah, we have a couple different looks. Today we were working on 4 forwards. Tomorrow we'll work on both units with 2 defensemen. And so we know how they play shorthanded. We know some of their dangerous players shorthanded. And it's a matter of, for me, it's a matter of reacting to the loose puck and to what's happening and not hesitating and waiting. It's reacting to it. So if we're using 4 forwards, they know that when a puck is in doubt, when a puck's turned over in a tough area, you've got to react defensively the same as you would 5-on-5.
Yeah, Mike, now that you guys are entering a series, matching line seems to be, in pairs, seems to be more at a premium. What have you noticed from the games against the Rangers, what their philosophy is, and have you learned anything that you might take forward where you can kind of play that cat and mouse game?
Yeah, well, not to discuss our strategy totally, but the Rangers aren't a big matching team. They will have matchups, particularly on defense, and I would expect that they're going to follow through with the same matchups that they had earlier in the season against us. And for us, we always have usually a set match we want on defense as well. And then for forward lines, we'll determine it as the series goes along.
Like, since the Boston game, you guys have the second most shots on goal in the league, but the lowest shooting percentage. In your mind, what isn't working for those two things to exist?
Well, the first thing, it's interesting when we look at those stats with other teams, you know, one thing we always say is that they're ready to break out. If we see a very odd shooting percentage for a high volume of shots, then the odds have got to start to move in your favor. You'll start to score more. But looking at the types of shots, you have to take it a step further, and you have to look at the types of shots, and that's what we've done lately. Because we're the same. We say, well, gee, we're getting a lot of shots. Are we getting quality shots? Are we getting shots from the red zone areas? And those are things where we've seen in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks, was what you're alluding to, are red zone shots. We haven't had the volume that we need. So a lot of the shots that we're getting are some outside shots, whereas before when our shot volumes were up, we were still getting our red zone shots up there. So for me, it's quality shots in the red zone, which is in that slot area, out to the dots, that higher slot area. We've got to get second chance opportunities or first chance opportunities in those areas. When we played the Rangers before, if you look back in the games, we have had some quality shots from those areas.
Scott Wilson gets recalled. Just what can he offer your team? I think he worked a little bit with Sutzy on the line today. Just what can he offer your team entering the playoffs?
Well, he gives us some depth, and that's what you're looking for when you enter playoffs. He's a good two-way forward, and he can score. He's got a good stick, but he also plays a gritty, almost like playoff-style game. So he's one of the forwards down there that he plays the wing primarily. He can create offensively, solid defensively, if you talk to John Hines, and then he plays with some grit and compete to his game. And so he's not an overly big guy, but he's a very competitive player.
Mike, it probably speaks to the year that Marc-Andre's had, that his teammates voted him the MVP. I'm just curious, from your perspective, what has impressed you the most with his performance this year?
Well, I just think the mindset that he has, he's an interesting player, as you guys know when you interview him so often, that he's got a great demeanor. The players battle hard for him because he never, through the course of the season, at any time, on a power play, we give up a breakaway, never blamed anybody, always taking responsibility for himself. And for me, I think his game I've really seen it evolve from afar. Before I came here, I saw some things in his game last year change. I saw some things in his game this year change. I think Mike Bales has done a really good job with him. And I think mentally he's in a good frame of mind. And I think with a lot of athletes, how you handle adversity, how you handle situations, how you handle challenges, that evolves over the course of your term as a player. And that's a big strength of his now, whereas maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that wasn't a strength of his, and he's got that locked down now.
Like I believe the other day you were talking about, you said Chorney would have a leg up because he's been here when you're figuring out what the defensive pairs are going to be. If Ehrhoff can't play, by extension, does Dumoulin have a leg up because of the experience that he had playing with Chorney in the AHL?
Yeah, they've been a pair. We talked about that other day, and I would say, yeah, he's got a slight edge there. Chorney definitely has a nod right now, just by the way he's played. And even today, the way he practiced today, he's got lots of confidence. He looks good out there. He feels comfortable. And I think if you talk to the guys in Wilkes, he was really ramping up his game these last few months. And he got an opportunity. All of a sudden, the door was open here, and he took advantage of it. And so for Chorns right now, he's really feeling his game. And if we're to put somebody with him, Dumoulin would be a natural thing because they have played so much together.
Mike, it seemed like in the Buffalo game, you guys were working your offense a lot down low, like behind the net, things like that. How important is that area of the ice for you to generate, and maybe some of those shots you talked about in the red zone, using the back of the net and down low in those areas?
Yeah, I think anytime, and I'm sure the Rangers are the same, anytime you can get the puck east-west down low, we talk about a lot. That's the most dangerous play. When you get the puck, you can cut back against your defenseman and take it below the goal line, east-west. It presents a lot of trouble for the other team. And it's the same defensively for us. We've got to cut down on their east-west plays because they're a good east-west team down low. They kick pucks behind the net. We've got to be good in coverage there. So I think both teams will be talking about that as we head into the series.